Hello, my beautiful mommies, and welcome back to Mommy Diaries. My name is Nompumelelo Makakula, and I am so glad that you could join me today. So, today we are discussing a topic that I am very, very much interested in. This is something I knew nothing about before I became a parent, and now that I am a parent, I am very, very, very invested in it, and I would like to learn more. So I thought, you know what? Let me just do research about it and then go and speak to other mommies about it. Before we start, I just want to tell you that I am not a mom expert. I am not an expert in child development or anything that has to do with children. I'm just a mom who loves everything about motherhood and parenting. So if I say something that you don't agree with, please don't come for me. So yeah, let's get into today's video. We are talking all things gentle parenting. We know that, we call ourselves the generation that's changing the narrative, the generation that's changing everything that has to do with parenting and everything else. So our generation is a generation of gentle parents. So someone might ask, Oguti, what the hell is gentle parenting? So according to Google, gentle parenting is a parenting approach that encourages a partnership between you and a child to make choices based on an internal willingness instead of external pressures. So that is what Google says about gentle parenting. So basically what it means is that you want to understand everything about your child's emotions, your child's feeling, and what's within them, rather than using everything else that is external. So we have different types of parenting styles. Those styles include, I think there's many of them, but the ones that come on top of my mind right now is authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, and uninvolved. So I made a few notes so that I don't forget anything at all. So if I happen to look down and that annoys you, please forgive me, because I didn't want to forget anything at all. So this, like I've mentioned, the 4 different types of parenting styles, but we are going to be focusing on one. So authoritarian is a type of parenting style that says rules are rules. No matter what happens, there are rules in this house and we all abide by the rules. And authoritarian is like the gentle, the nurturing, and the more understanding type of parenting. And the permissive parenting style says rules are made to be broken, rules are meant to be broken. There's a type of parents that allow their children to break rules. And then there's the uninvolved parenting style. So these are parents that believe that children are capable of raising themselves. So if I could be more realistic, I'll say these are parents that are neglecting their children. But we won't be talking about all that. We are going to be talking about the authoritative type of parenting, which is gentle parenting. I know most people would call gentle parenting as sometimes people would say it's the lazy type of parenting, but I don't think that it's a lazy type of parenting, and it's also not a parenting style where parents let their children get away with everything. But it is a parenting style where parents want to be more involved with their children. They want to communicate more with their children. They want to be involved and understand them, to build a friendship. Most people will say, but it's not about that, because when you take time to understand it, you can actually see, it does not make you the perfect parent, but it makes you the trying parent, because obviously there is no such thing as a perfect mom or a perfect father. But looking back, Mina, between my partner and I, the most gentle parent between us is my partner, and he's also one of the reasons why I decided to talk about this. My partner is so gentle. That guy has so much grace. And Mina, I'm the aggressive parent, everything has to be, gyaliwa, gyarasa. But I think being with him has taught me to be more understanding. Being with him has taught me to be, more patient, I think, especially when it comes to children. So I was sitting down with him and I was asking him, Uguti, but why, what type of a father do you think you're going to be? Because like, you let things slide most of the times. And he said to me, it's not that I let things slide. I want to be a type of a father that is easy to talk to. I don't want my children to be afraid of me. I want them to know that, what, even if I'm going through a lot of troubles and I've done something really bad, I know that I have a dad I can always run to. I know that I have an understanding dad. And I was like, wow, I didn't see it like that, because no, abantwana bazodlalela enhloko yakho, especially the only one that we have. I thought, umelo angakuhloniphe, umelo uzodlalela enhloko yakho. And I said a lot of things and he said, no, actually umelo uzosaba wena, because wena uyarasa. But she's going to be more open with me because mina, I understand. And I was like, wow. So I got to understand that with gentle parenting, you're allowing your child to be human. You're allowing your child to explore themselves. You're allowing your child to be more communicative, to be more open. Because I know that most of us were raised by parents, show all sorts of things when they were raising us, or when and most African parents believe in corporal punishment, though other or whatever they find. So with us, we are a generation that is trying to change, which, what, not everything has to be about violence, Also, another thing that I realized is that gentle parenting needs time and patience, which is why most parents I think they don't consider it, because it wants you to take so much time understanding your child, talking to your child. Imagine trying to make a toddler or a teenager understand you as a parent, which is why you end up losing it, and then or you use harsh words. I think this today, I was talking to some ladies, and we were talking about how our parents raised us, and then we got to a point where we were talking about so that sometimes you even forget but the words that our parents sometimes use, it might not have been all the parents, but some parents, we relate in a way as adults now, that what, sometimes they'll tell you, hey umnyama, hey, yes, all those sorts of things, and then okay, maybe I'm useless, maybe I'm not helpful, and then we said, how about we raise our children and not point out their imperfections, like saying saying all those type of things. And also, if like, find a way to speak to them, find a way to be more gentle with them. It takes time to be a gentle parent, and what makes me understand the way we were raised is because that's how our mothers were raised. This one time I was talking to my mom and I said to her, you're so harsh with us, and she said to me, but that's how I was also raised. But why don't you change that? Because it was not nice. You've got scars all over your body that you can show. So do you want that for your children also? Do you want us to grow up thinking, having a low self-esteem because we don't feel like we're good enough, So I understand that our parents, that's how they were raised. So Tina, it is our time now to change that. So this is what I'm getting to. Why do people practice gentle parenting? People practice gentle parenting to, number one, to undo generational curses. Because what I learned and what I understand now is that changing or undoing generational curses does not only have to do with finances and relationship and wealth, education, also parenting too. Like I was saying, that my mom was raising us the way she was raised by by her dad. So, excuse me, so it's not easy for her to say, okay, this is how I should raise kids. This is how my kids will have a more, communicative relationship with me. So Tina, our job right now is to undo those generational curses and the generational traumas. So you know that you didn't like it when your parents would shout at you and say all those hurtful things. You didn't like it when baka iswas emtini or bakshine skatulu or whatever. You didn't like that. So why not use this chance with your own child to say, I am not going to beat up my children. I am not going to use hurtful words to my children as a way of punishment or as a way of showing them that who's the boss in the house. So another reason why people resort to gentle parenting is that they want to raise kind human beings, rather than raising narcissists, because with gentle parenting, you as a parent, you're being kind to your child. So what does it do to them? It makes them to be kind, because obviously children do what we do, not what we say, which is what I think most parents have gotten wrong, that uzorasa but uzofuna ukuthi wena ube kind. It does not work like that, Melinda. If uzongirasela, ngizorasa back. Because that's what I also realized about my child. When you scream, she screams back. Even though ungamuzwa ukuthi uthini, but she screams back because it's what you're doing. If uzobiza inhlamba, why expect your kids ukuthi bangabiza inhlamba? They do what you do, not what you say. So start by being kind to them and to you and to the people around you. And that's how they're going to be. As easy as ABC. And I'm not saying mina angrasa, mina niyarasa. I am one person who makes noise. My child is only turning 2 this month, but sometimes I think I don't have the patience to say Melo no, Melo yolo kwenza njalo, Melo xoga, Melo ini. So I end up Melo man, and I have to bring back myself and say, remember, you don't want to raise that type of a child, and you don't want to be that type of a parent. It takes time, and I am learning, and I'm so glad that I have a partner who is gentle, and he reminds me all the time that gentleness is the way, and I am learning. So I think with my sister always asks my mom, "Mecha, why you rasa?" And ubuzanjani uyamemeza naye. And I think my mom, she is trying, because with my siblings, she is way better. The way she is raising my siblings compared to how she raised us, I think she was more harder on us. But as Iskati's Hamba, I think she became the parenthood open. And then she gave us lesser space. So if we didn't like anything, we would tell her. With my cousin, we didn't like that. Can we please do this? And should also include us in other things. And it gradually grew, because with my sisters now and my only brother, she's able to sit down and ask them, how am I as a parent? Where would you like me to change? What are you unhappy about? But with that, she still sets healthy boundaries to know that, okay, I'm talking to you, I'm being gentle with you, but that does not mean if I'm telling you something or I'm giving you rules in my house, you're still going to abide by them. Though I'm not trying to be a lion or a tsunami, I want to be a great parent that when you have problems, you can come to me. Right now, I can speak to my mom about anything. I tell my mom everything, or whatever. I speak to her because I know that she is understanding. So I love that. Well, when we started, she was not that gentle, but now as we grew up, she's become very welcoming and understanding, and a very gentle parent, if I may say. I don't remember the last time my mom shouted at the kids at the house, or the last time she threw iscatulo or said some hurtful words. Well, sometimes she does snap at her because you're raising children, and sometimes they annoy you. She does do and whatever, but I commend how far she has come. And that's how I want to be Nami, because Nami, I think when you're not happy about something, you know. But I'm trying to be gentle with my child. So moving on, another reason why people do gentle parenting is to build great relationships with their children. You know, like I said, my partner is trying to build a relationship with our daughter by being gentle to her. So I think a parent that I love, I know people may not agree with me, but it's not that I'm happy with everything she does, but I'm happy that she's best friends with Umtanake Okans. You know, the way they speak, the kind of a relationship they have. And most people might think, no, Okans might get pregnant quicker, or Okans might get into all those sorts of things. And you might find out what she wouldn't even dare to do those things because her mom is open about everything with her. Have you noticed that most of the time, or when you were growing up, most of the kids, not that I'm trying to shame anyone, but I'm just making a practical example, most of the kids who are not allowed to go out or have friends, always at church and whatever, those are the children who got pregnant earlier, grade 8, grade 9, or somewhere in high school. Those are the children that got pregnant earlier. Those are the children that dropped out of high school. Those are people that, you know, did drugs because their parents were so strict, so they were not allowed to do anything. Or when some of them got to varsity, they got this freedom, you know, and they were trying to enjoy it. But with some kids that their parents were, you know, very gentle with them and open with them, they knew these things and they're not deprived of anything, which is why even when they got that freedom to do the things, they took their time because now I have to go home quickly. Which is what I always say about myself, that my mom maskula, even though but in a way she allowed us to be ourselves, which is why she trusted me. Immediately after I did my grade 12, I went to stay at Witbank. After that, I went to stay at Pretoria areas, and we know how students are. But when I got there, I was able to stay grounded because of how I was raised. So that's how I think gentle parenting helps in a way. Also, with my research, I got to understand that gentle parenting helps your child to be more communicative. It helps your child to be, you know, more social. They get to understand themselves and understand other people. And also as adults, they know, even in relationships or friendships, they know, okay, when I'm not happy about something, I have to sit down and speak rather than keeping quiet. You know, there's this thing that most parents like doing, giving silent treatment as punishment. Be careful when you do that, because you don't want to raise an adult who will have abandonment issues. You don't want to raise an adult who will be afraid of losing people, which means they'll get attached to people, or they'll have, you know, this type of, they'll have like anxiety, or they'll panic at a sign of seeing that they're losing a friend or they're losing a relationship, because they don't want to be given silent treatment. Make sure that you don't do that a lot with your child. I know that most parents think that it's a style that works for them, but you are ruining a future adult with giving them a silent treatment. So make sure that even when you do it, awareness and abuse it, because like I've mentioned, you don't want your children to succumb to peer pressure, because now they're afraid of losing people. They're afraid of, okay, when I don't do this, they're going to stop talking to me. So when you're becoming gentle with your parent, you're raising an adult that won't give in to peer pressure, because they're not forced at home to do anything they didn't want to do. With your children, you give them options when you become like a gentle parent, because you don't just say no. You say no, but you give reasons. No, mama, you can't eat ice cream because this and this. So because I was like ice cream, how about we give you this or that? You give them options. So what are you doing? You're raising an adult who will know how to choose for themselves, and they won't be easily pressured. You see how nice gentle parenting is. So we are not raising people pleasers, right? We don't want our children to be people pleasers. So let us not bossy them around. Let us give them options and let us give them a chance to be adults. And remember that also gentle parenting also helps you with raising an adult who's going to have empathy and compassion, right? That's what I love the most about gentle parenting. So let us try it, man. As hard and as time consuming it is, let us try it. Let me see what else I have in my notes. Oh yes, another thing, gentle parenting builds confidence, because you're going to raise a gentleman or a lady who knows to talk for themselves, because you taught them when we have a problem, we sit down and we talk about things. Not that I'm going to be the boss and tell you how to do things. If you're mad at your child, sit them down. Fine. Now let's say, because I'm raising a toddler, and toddlers are a lot. Toddlers are a lot, and you can't really sit down with your toddler and say, okay, Melo, mommy doesn't like 1, 2, 3. If you hear any noise outside, please forgive me. People are partying. So like I was saying, when you're raising a toddler, I think gentle parenting differs with obviously each and every age group, because you won't be sitting down your 2-year-old or your 3-year-old and teaching them boundaries or teaching them consequences to their actions, or teaching them about emotions, because at this point they are very power hungry. They love power, and they have these emotions they're trying to understand about themselves, because they just realize, oh, my hands can do that, oh, my feet can do that, oh, now I've got these skills, I've got that skill. They're trying to understand that about themselves. And then now there's you who wants to control them. They've just learned to go, okay, now I can brush my teeth, and you want to do that for them. So I think with toddlers there's a way to do it, with teenagers there's a way to do it, and then with young adults there's a way to do it. You find a way that's going to work for you and your child. Because like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not here to tell you how to raise your kids. I'm just here to give you points that I think are very important. So gentle parenting does not mean that you let your kids slide with things. They don't get consequences, or they don't get punished. You can punish them, you can teach them about consequences, and also teach them to be themselves and human beings, because it's not only for now. Parenting has to do with how I raise my child now. How is it going to impact their life in the future? I hope I'm making sense, mommies and daddies. Another thing that I've learned is that when you do gentle parenting, you spend lots of time communicating and validating, communicating with your children and validating them. Like saying to them how beautiful they are, how smart they are. You don't want to always say to them, hey, now you're slow learner, hey, now you see, hey, you're not helpful around the house. But rather than saying that, how about you find things that you can validate? How about you find things that you can help build a self-esteem? But remember that it takes lots and lots and lots and lots of time. But at the end of the day, what I like is that it does work. And also remember to reparent yourself as you parent your child. I'm not sure if this makes sense. Make sure that you are emotionally available and emotionally stable for it, because obviously you won't be able to pour from an empty cup, So I think emotional stability really, really, really works in gentle parenting. So reparent yourself as you parent your child, and always pour from a full cup. This is where the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. So what I'm trying to say is, get as much help as you can, and don't be hard on yourself. There are going to be days where you're going to make noise. There are going to be days where you're going to snap. There are going to be days where you feel like strangling them or something. But allow yourself to go through that, because no mom is mom is perfect. No parent is perfect. And do things your way. There is no book that is titled A Perfect Way to Parenting, a perfect way to raise a child. There is no such thing. You raise your child the best way you know how, but remember to be gentle with them. I think we have this thing that we want our children to be afraid of us, to respect us. Respecting you is one thing. To be afraid of you is one thing, because remember that what you do now would impact your life and your children's life in future, and your relationship might be impacted by how you raise them now. In future, your children might not be able to come and speak to you because they are afraid that you're going to judge them. They're afraid of what you are going to say to them. So where there is fear, there is no trust. When your child is afraid of you, they won't trust you with their problems, they won't trust you with their issues, they won't be free enough to come and speak to you. Let us treat them with respect so that they can give it back to us. Being the boss does not work. I know that most parents like saying, this is my house, it's either you do this or you fall back in my house, but let us refrain from that. Let us be better parents. I'm not saying the parents before us were not better, but they were also trying to, navigate this whole parenting things, because that's how they were raised, So now break those generational curses and do them. Do better. Do better. Be a gentle parent. Don't want to I remember this day I remember this day my mom did this and that. No, there's a better way of punishing your child, and I'm not going to tell you how, because you have to find ways that work for you as a parent, that work for you and your child. So I went on Google, I don't remember what I typed, but what I was looking for was, what if gentle parenting does not work? And what I found is that you might believe that you are the boss. So you might believe that you are the boss and your child must do everything you say. So you are like, my word or nothing else, my way or the highway. I am the boss. If I say A, it's A. If I say jump, you must ask me how high. So that is why gentle parenting might not be working for you, because you always want things to happen your way. Like I said, you either do this or you vamos. So that is why gentle parenting might not work for you, but with time and practice and patience, it might work. Secondly, you want to take full control over your child's life, and you use physical punishment, which most of the time leads to resentment, because obviously who would like a parent that beats them all the time? Every time there is a disagreement, or every time I make even a simple mistake of ukulahla isicathulo or ukudabula isicathulo or ukulahla ijezi lesikolo or ukuphula iplate endlini sengiyoshaywa. Sometimes when you want to give your child some love, or you want to hug them, and then they're like, because all the time they know all the time because they don't know ukuthi impama izovela nini, ingavela anytime. So let us be careful of what punishments we give to our children. Do not be too bossy. Yes, be a parent, but don't be too bossy. So stop this thing with no, please, let's stop that. Another thing is that you might not be connected with your emotions and feelings. I think this is what I said about learning to pour from a full cup, because no one can pour from an empty cup. So be very attached with your emotions and your feelings, and understand what you're doing. There is Google, there is YouTube, there are books. Read and read. I think I read somewhere someone saying toxic parents are parents who treat children as if they do things intentionally. Can you imagine saying to a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old, you've always been mean. You've always been mean since you were a child. Why are you doing this to me? Like telling a 5-year-old that they're mean. Please, hey? Telling a toddler, a 3-year-old, that they're mean. Please, guys. Children don't do things intentionally. Like I said, they've got this emotions that they're trying to understand about themselves. So be careful what you say to them. Be careful what you say about them also, because children don't only listen to what you say to them, but they also listen to what you say about them. You might think that they are not hearing or they might not be listening, but they are. So be careful how you speak to them, and stop thinking that they do things intentionally. They are trying to understand themselves. So you as an adult, make sure that you are there for them. Okay. And I think I saw someone saying raising a 3-year-old and raising a teenager is like raising the same type of people, because these people are people who are trying to understand themselves, or trying to understand this whole emotions, and for a teenager, hormones, I think moving from one stage to another. So there is a lot going on, this as a parent. So be gentle. As much time as it needs, practice it. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I am not. I'll keep on emphasizing this point that I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent. I'm also a trying parent. I'm a mom to a 2-year-old. So you can understand how much experience I don't have. But through my sisters, because I was there when my mom was raising them, I was able to learn 1 or 2 things, about raising children. And through the research, I'm able to learn something about raising children. I think there's this one thing that eats me till to this day. I once said to my sisters, and that thing still haunts me till today. I was able to go back to them and apologize and say to them, you know what, I was wrong to say that, please forgive me. And they were able to forgive me. One thing about my little sister, she does not let anything slide. She will come back to you and say, but you were wrong. And we do apologize. And I think it took time for my mom to understand that as a parent, you also need to apologize. But she does it now, She goes to them, askis for and give each other hugs. And I love that, That's how I also want to raise my daughter, So yeah, guys, I feel like I've said a mouthful. Otherwise, if I talk any further, I'll be repeating myself and I'll be repeating some points. I do hope, however, that I didn't leave anything out from my notes, because so I decided, you know what, let me just wing some points. But I feel like if you want to know more about gentle parenting, you can visit Google, Twitter, TikTok, buy books. Even here on YouTube, you can find videos. I hope this helps. My name is Nompumelelo Makakula, and this is Mommy Diaries, and I'll see you next time. Bye.